On the surface, this looks like the greatest thing ever. You've got Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug, and more than a dozen other arcade classics together on the same freaking disc. And those are some of the greatest games ever made. What could possibly be wrong with a compilation like that? Well, turns out, a lot. This is Namco Museum Megamix. Let's make something exceedingly clear right at the start. This is not a review of the arcade games on this disc. Those games are classics. This is a review of the compilation, of how they're put together. And from that perspective, this Mega Mix is more like a mega mess. Or actually, it's like a mega lazy, mega cash grab. Mega disappointment. So Namco Museum Megamix was released in November of 2010 exclusively for the Wii. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, Megamix, isn't this game called Remix? And didn't it come out like 4 years ago? And see, I thought the same thing, but what happened was Namco evidently decided to make some money by repackaging the same game. So this game, Namco Museum Megamix, is just Namco Museum Remix with a new subtitle. And that's a game that had released 3 years earlier than this one. So in essence, I mean, this is a rehash of a compilation that was comprised of rehashes. I know, but it has Pac-Man, right? Yeah, it does. And it's only the 743rd freaking time we've played it, too. But again, let's be fair, you can't complain about the arcade games, and that's one area in which Megamix definitely delivers. You got almost 20 of Namco's best, and to the game's credit, it does include about 10 more total games than Remix did. But the thing that really bothers me about Megamix is that it seems to think people care about seeing polygonal versions of characters like Pac-Man. The game loads up with this stupid-looking Pac-Man model sitting in front of a castle. Because, you know, when I think Namco, the first thing I think of is a 3D Pac-Man sitting in front of a castle. Now, fortunately, all the games are unlocked at the onset. There's no arbitrary unlocking to plow through, which is a good thing. The problem is finding the game you want. There's no menu or anything, that'd be too convenient. You have to roll Pac-Man around this hub world, and worst of all, it's in 3D. Now, speaking of things that are in 3D when they really shouldn't be, so are the updated versions of these classic Namco properties. In addition to the good arcade games, you get these 6 terrible polygonal 3D games as well. Now, they're modernized versions of games like Galaga, for example, but rather than give you a top-down shooter, you get this stupid on-rails shooter with Pac-Man rolling through space. And there are similarly awful remixes of games like Rally X, for example, and really the only worthwhile 3D updates in the entire bunch are Pack-and-Roll and Pac-Motos. And frankly, I'll be honest with you, neither one of them is all that good either. Now, to be perfectly fair, Megamix is a better compilation than its predecessor, Remix, but it's a really lazy one too. In fact, the only way I could see recommending this is if you're still looking for a compilation of classic Namco games and you have a Wii. I mean, for the budget price, this is a nice set of arcade games. It's just that they've been done to death, they play better on other platforms, and they've been thrown onto this disc with obvious carelessness. And if Namco Museum Megamix isn't gonna care, why should we?